we have concluded executive session with nothing else to report. And just an FYI before we begin, our internet service is down. It's an outside issue, which is being worked on by Optimum right now. So we are not live streaming, but we are recording both video and audio that will be posted to the website at a later date, tomorrow?
I think by tomorrow.
By tomorrow? Okay. So just so everyone is aware, if you start getting messages that they can't see us or hear us, that is why.
Point of clarification, this is an external issue with Optimum, not ours. Apparently the span of, or the geographic area extends to Quorum. I just don't know west, east, south, north, how big the area it is. So we did send an all-district email out, because if you go on your cell phone and use your cell signal, email is still functional. We just can't access internet through our internet. Well, so anyway.
All right, and with that, would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Trustee Barry, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, just a reminder of the emergency exits to the immediate rear of the meeting room, and to my right, to the audience left, in the event of an emergency. So please just exit the building accordingly. I don't have my little blurb here because we're not up, but anyway, everyone knows this is a no smoking campus. This is a bully-free campus, and we welcome you to the meeting and hope you enjoy. With that, we have the consent agenda, item C. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, President Felice. The administration recommends the approval of board consent items reflected in Schedule C1 through C4.
Okay, can we have a motion for C1 through C4? Motion by Trustee Flippin, second by Trustee Barry. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Seeing all hands raised, the motion passes unanimously. And next we have communication and announcements, to begin with the superintendent's report.
You may be asking how this is possible. Cell phone hotspot. Students had the opportunity to share their presentation, so we made it happen for you guys. So really excited to have some students here, and I'll introduce them in a bit. They're part of my superintendent's report for this week. But let's get through it. And I think I sort of planted something in the universe, because as I was contemplating this meeting, my first line was going to be on snow. And sure enough, we have flurries today, sort of a little unanticipated. But just sort of a reminder to the community that, you know, when we have to make the decision or have to cross that bridge, when we have to contemplate closing schools due to snow, we make our best concerted effort to make the call before 5:30 a.m. And that's provided that the forecast isn't like a sure storm that's coming. When, you know, last year we had just one delayed opening. I think in New York City, and I don't know how much this extends to Long Island, it's been almost 700 days without significant snow. So of course, my non-scientific brain says, oh, we're due. That's not based on science, that's just kind of law of averages. So messages will go out via Connect Ed, also through internal email. You know, the goal is to notify our community as early as possible with regards to the closing. We also have, you know, several radio stations, and certainly Channel 12's website will have a listing of all school closures as they become available. But typically we try to get ahead of these reports. So as soon as we know, make a final determination, we will let the community know. For the students in the audience, the way it works, around 4 o'clock in the morning, us superintendents, we have a group text, and we start texting each other, because no school district wants to close first. And so it's important that we get our instructional days in, and so we text each other. Our facilities director, Mr. Pirro, actually will come to the campus in the middle of the night and make an assessment of the roads and stuff. And if we feel like it's too, you know, if safety's compromised or buses won't be able to do their routes, we'll make that final decision. But it's a lot to it. So you guys may sleep with your pajamas backwards, a spoon under your pillow. We stress all night. So as much as you wish for snow days, it's a source of stress for us. But again, snow clothing, it's a snow day, it's called. All buildings, including the YMCA before and after school programs, are also closed, including our pre-K program, are canceled for that day. In terms of delayed opening, They're always going to be a 2-hour delayed opening. There's no really sort of variation of that. So basically, that means that the before-school program at South Haven and the YMCA will be canceled because of the delayed opening. All the schools will open 2 hours later, and all other buildings will open 2 hours after their traditional start times, including the bus stop pickup time. So everything gets delayed by 2 hours except for our morning programs, which are canceled. And really rare early dismissals. The reason early dismissals are rare is because by the time you gather buses, dismissal time comes around. So it's something that we almost never, bridge we never cross. But should it happen, typically we dismiss 30 minutes early at the high school. But because of the way the buses run their routes, it's only about 15 minutes early for the other schools. That's why typically, if there's going to be any significant snowfall during the day, we typically ask for school closing. And my philosophy is, unless we're like really using a lot of snow days and it's going to impact our vacation time, because we have to have 183 days of instruction in the school year. We have 1 snow day built in, but snow days should be snow days. It's a time for families to shovel driveways and enjoy the snow. So we do have an emergency like virtual learning plan. Should we decide that schools are closed physically, the learning is still going to happen, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So fingers crossed. I like to visit snow. I just don't like it when it comes to visit. Moving on, I had an opportunity to visit some schools, had a lot of fun. I got to go to South Haven and hang out with some of the preschool students. And what I find amazing, I grew up in an era where preschool wasn't as popular, but to see these kids engaged in mathematics and in learning at such a young age, these kids are younger than 5 years old, was pretty fantastic. They have great attitudes, and they're so enthusiastic about learning. I also got to visit Frank P. Long Intermediate School, hung out with some classrooms. I love the fact that they're really embracing this message of kindness in some of their bulletin boards. And a lot of their projects they do in class are kind of related to kindness, which is what the world needs, considering all the conflicts and all of that news we are bombarded with. I also got to visit Brookhaven Elementary School, and this is a picture of kindergarten kids in a computer lab. And it's, one thing I took for granted is we need to teach kids how to use mice, because all of their electronic devices don't have mice. So a lot of times when you're navigating programs as you get older, you have to learn how to use a mouse, and that's something that I thought was natural. But it was really good to see these little kindergartners really sort of maneuvering the technology, using different software. And it's a picture of their PE class where it's going on the days when I was a kid and we did kind of the same thing all the time in PE. They do a lot of variety of activities in PE classes. South Haven Public Library was also there to do a book read-along with the class, and the kids were excited to have the guests stop by. But what I found most remarkable and really old school was not myself or Mr. Nofi, one of our safety officers, but the fact that there's a functioning payphone at Brookhaven. So you could literally put coins in there and make a phone call. It's kids really like find.
Define what a payphone is.
Yeah. You guys know what a payphone is? So back in the day,
We've seen
you
some
had
old
to pay
movies.
and put it in the machine and actually dial numbers to make a phone call. I'll tell you a little secret, just because I have high school students here, so I'm reverting back. When I was young, we didn't have a lot of money. You could call collect. What that meant was you didn't have to put a coin in the phone. Your mother or your parent will accept the call, and the charges will go to her phone account. So my mom knew when she got a collect call from me, that means I was on my way home. So she would not accept the charges. It was a way to make a free call back in the days. So, but yeah, a little nostalgic for me to see that payphone there. We also had a visit to Kramer Kingdom. A lot of great things and happy times at Kramer Kingdom. Thanks to the collaborative work of Ms. Segee, Ms. Doyle, and obviously Principal Clark and his staff, we were able to get upgrades to our library. Part of it was lowering the height of the shelves so that it opened up the space. It also helps with supervision of kids because little kids can hide behind the shelves. And also getting some of that modular furniture, which is really cool. You can change the configuration of the furniture so that you can make the library space a little bit more fun. Also, we had the Welcome Back party at Kramer. That's a great event that celebrates our diversity by virtual food and crafts. Kids were engaged in calligraphy, from Asia, different types of food, like I said. The kids, of course, loved tossing pizza dough. It's a small picture, but they were twirling that dough in the air, and of course, there was a direct hit to my head when the pizza dough actually landed on my head. But we had a good time. The kids had a great time, so I just want to give a shout out to Principal Park, who really embodies this whole notion that school should equal fun. So a lot of great time at Craver Kingdom. Bellport High School also hosted its curriculum fair, which is a great event. Students and teachers got to kind of highlight some of the learning and activities that they do in the various departments, from culinary arts to math to science. All the departments were pretty much covered. Some musical performances by some of the students in the audience now. Fantastic time. One of the things that really struck with me is talking to the health class and the adulting class. They talked about pregnancy, and I actually got to wear sort of a vest that stimulates what it feels like to carry a baby. And as much as I thought I could appreciate it, it was really eye-opening just to wear it. And it really felt like it was part of your own body weight. And the two young students who kind of articulated, what they were learning, and the artificial intelligence baby involved, it was pretty remarkable, the technology we have just to teach about some basic life skills and stuff. So really had a fun time with them. Also, we had student translators, which I thought was pretty cool. They wore t-shirts that says Habla Español for Spanish-speaking parents who may have come. They accompanied the parents around the hallways and translated when necessary. And one of my favorite activities, not to diminish the importance of all the departments, was the fact that they had a big canvas that invited you to add a couple of brush strokes to a painting of a clipper. And of course, I had to paint Clipper Pride on the corner of the canvas. In all, a great night. I want to thank Beth Doyle for organizing this with all the various directors, the high school administration who did a wonderful job, of course the student volunteers and teachers who participated. It really was a fun night. We're going to do it again at the middle school on January 30th at 5 p.m. That's right before parent-teacher conferences, so hopefully we'll get a nice crowd. But it's going to be a similar sort of setup where you'll get to visit or see some of the learning that's happening at the middle school. Moving on, sharing best practices. Again, we always talk about being lifelong learners. This is true. I actually got to participate in a panel discussion for the Energia group, not to be confused with our energy performance contract. But they basically get together people from different industries, education, to talk about societal concerns, community concerns on Long Island. So I was part of a panel with Bob Vecchio, who's the executive director of the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association, and board regents, or New York State Regent, Roger Tillis. So the three of us kind of answered questions about education and public education. So it was really nice to have some stakeholders from Long Island just ask questions about public schools, some of our philosophies on different things. It was just a great opportunity. And another great sort of opportunity for me to highlight South Country and really promote South Country's practices on a larger schedule. Talking about best practices, we had the Three Village School District, different stakeholders there, parents, staff, come see some of our DEI, or Dignity, Equity, and Inclusion work that Brookhaven sort of embraces on a day-to-day basis. They were super impressed by our practices at the school. And again, a great way to promote our school district. And when we have districts like Three Village coming to us to visit, to learn a little bit, I think that's another great source of Clipper pride. Our administrators also engage in professional learning. I got to stop in on a professional learning opportunity that was directed or facilitated by Jack Burke, our director of STEM. When I took these pictures, the administrators teamed up to engage in a little math riddle. It was actually a lot of fun. And it was my only regret was not being able to participate because I had other things to do. But it was nice to see our administrators engage in learning as well. Because again, if we're going to start promoting these sort of learning practices in our classrooms, we certainly have to go through it and experience it. So big shout out to Jack Burke, and again, Beth Doyle, the directors and our administrators for being participating in that. And our Board of Education members also continually learn. We got to attend a financial governance workshop hosted by NISBA. It was super informative. It basically talks about school district finances, budgeting, and really my takeaway, and I want to thank Jen Segee for taking the charge last year in our budget process, but we're basically doing a lot of what was recommended in that workshop. So it really made us feel sort of good. Certainly gave us some tools to meet certain financial challenges we may have in the future. But in all, it was a really like informative workshop. I'm glad to have attended with President Felice and Vice President Hayes. And again, shout out to our business official, Jen Segui, who kind of was at the forefront of some of these recommendations as we managed our budgetary process last year. You know, I can't say I'm looking forward to the process again. It's a lot of work, but I'm excited about it. I know she is. So I'm looking forward to kind of going into our new budget season with just a little bit more tools under our belt. So really excited about that. We also had our National Honor Society induction ceremony at the high school. Our student officers did a fantastic job in hosting the event and running the event. Those officers include Evelyn Soto, the president, Caitlin Smith, vice president, Catherine Mason, secretary, and Usman Saeed, treasurer. So I just want to give a big shout out to the advisors as well, Ms. Hines and Ms. Peniagua, for doing a nice, intimate ceremony. We had 100+ students inducted into the National Junior Honor Society, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. You have to become a member, you know, you have to represent these ideals: scholarship, leadership, service, and character, which are certainly consistent with our Kalispell pride. Last couple of nights, I had 2 great nights. I was able to attend our concert at the middle school on Monday night. We had our first concert that featured 4 of our performing groups. We had the 6th grade orchestra conducted by Sarah Bunk. We had our 6th grade band conducted by Samantha Steenkamp. 6th grade chorus conducted by Mr. Kyle Sherlock. And what I really loved about this song was a SpongeBob song called Ugly Sweaters. And in that picture, those kids were actually wearing ugly sweaters. And I don't know what this says about me, but I thought they were kind of cool looking. So, and finally, we had our 7th grade band perform under the with Miss Audrey Garcia conducting. Really fantastic night. And I always take these photos from a distance. So on our 2nd night of the concert, I got a little bit more creative with my photos. And so another 4 great performing groups. This night, we started off with our 7th grade orchestra, conducted by Miss Sarah Bunk. Got a little close-up. We also had our 8th grade band by Miss Audrey Garcia again. Our 7th and 8th grade chorus, conducted by Mr. Sherlock. And our 8th grade orchestra, conducted by Miss Blakely Grunberg. Big shout out to the middle school administration, obviously Victoria Hartman, our chair for music. What I find most remarkable, besides the talent, is just the sheer number of students that participate in music. If you look at all these photos, it's a lot of kids. And all these kids are sort of enriched by these experiences. So I'm so glad that we have a robust music program, another great source of Clipper pride. Looking forward to the concerts at the high school next week. So again, and our other concerts are going to be held at our elementary schools. Again, fantastic times. Quick winter sports update. Our athletes, and I know Brent Johnson could not be here tonight because I wanted to ask her how her polar plunge was. But students helping others did a fundraiser by jumping into the cold waters of our Long Island Bay, I believe. Our restorative athletes visited, what school was it? Crits, thank you. Went down to Crits. I know that we'll hear about it a little bit, which is always fantastic because high school students are like celebrities to the elementary school students. So instead of doing highlights from games, I also want to showcase some of the other things our student athletes are doing. But I did go to the varsity girls basketball game last Saturday morning. What a fantastic game. It's always fun to watch. One of the things I realized through the Twitter feed, the Bellport Athletics, is that these games are streamed live. But after the games, you can look at the videos from the Huddle is the website. It's free. And it actually shows highlights with the students' names. So it's pretty cool. It's almost like watching an ESPN sort of highlights that's featuring our high school athletes. So that's pretty cool to watch. I'll keep the board and community updated of more athletic happenings moving forward. But now, it really is my great pleasure, because I've been accused of talking way too much, to have some high school students here to kind of present some high school happenings that they want to share with our board and with our community. So I'm not going to be introducing them. I'm going to give that pleasure to our high school principal, Ms. Erica Del Rosa, to come up and to the podium to kind of introduce the students. I'll go back to their first slide, and then you can just advance from here. So come up here, Principal Del Rosa. And if you tell the students, this is a down arrow, moves forward. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
So I'd just like to start by saying thank you to the board and Mr. Santana for this opportunity to present tonight. one of my goals as high school principal has been to continue to increase the amount of student events, especially the ones that were lost during COVID. So I'm happy to report that we've surpassed that goal at this point, and we've brought everything back, and now we're adding more and more. So I'm so proud of all these events that the students are going to talk about tonight. This is what makes Bellport High School special. So I thought who better to share that with you than our students. We have prepared a slides presentation to show you some of them tonight. It is some of the events, it is not all, because we'd be here all night. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the students who are here with me tonight. We have Gabriella Barrett, one of our 9th grade students. We have Valentina Cordova, 10th grade student. And Connor Wilson, one of our seniors. So before I hand it over to them, I just want to thank Megan White, one of our social studies teachers at the high school, for her assistance in creating tonight's presentation as part of her administrative internship. So at this time, it's my honor to turn the presentation over to our student ambassadors.
I'm going to start off by speaking about our Hispanic Heritage Month presentation. I just want to start off by saying, growing up in a Hispanic household where I was always told to be proud of my heritage and my culture, seeing representation at the Bellport High School was very eye-opening. It was a very special moment. So during the presentation, we had a lot of different foods from the different cultures and display of all of that. As you can see, we had some of the ENL students make posters of the different countries and reading aloud about the facts and stuff. And then we had music playing, Hispanic music to get the good vibes out. And the food donated by Ruta Ocasa and Moe's and Island Empanada. I will say the pupusas were really, really good. Too bad we couldn't get seconds, but yeah. Seeing the representation at the Bellport High School, I think it was a very special moment being able to resonate with those students. So, pass it on to Gab.
This was our Going Green for Farmingdale during their horrible time that happened with them. Our slide shows what we did for them. We made an arch full of balloons, showing our love and support for Farmingdale High School in their time of their need. We wore green that day, made different posters, took pictures, and sent a sign over to their school so they could know that we supported them during their horrible time, sadly.
This is Clipper Compassion Day. Basically the school promoted unity and empathy, which I thought was really awesome because it just sets good vibes for the whole school and makes everyone want to show up to school. Because a lot of people, they just show up to school because they have to. They just want to graduate. They get in, get out, done. That's all. And having days like these really promotes students to be aware of where they are and just make people want to come to school more, and not just for the sole purpose of wanting to graduate high school and get the diploma, but to really learn in their classes and also make connections with teachers and have people to talk to in school as well, and just make good connections all around in school. So it just promotes all of that. Thank you.
Adding on to what Connor said about uniting empathy, I feel like what Ms. De La Rosa said about COVID-19 taking away a lot of our events was true, as being home, stuck in quarantine, isolated from all these people really drifted us all apart as a community, but being a part of this high school really brought us all together, having all these events.
This is the field trip from when Bellport High School students went to Kramer Street, and as Mr. Santana said, younger children and stuff, they look up to older people like us, and it's great to see that because there's a lot of people, and as we develop into a newer generation where technology is so advanced, we really don't read as much, and just that goes for everyone, all ages, and people don't read as much, and especially not the children, and children need to read because they need to enhance their vocabulary and their speaking abilities, obviously. And for high school students to go in and promote reading, it really helps them to be like, oh, this is a cool activity, like I should do it more often, because I know when I went back to Kramer Street, it's a silly story, but when we used to run around the perimeter and stuff like that of the grass field, sometimes the middle school students would be running around the track and stuff, and like when I saw a middle school student like running around the track or walking, I would stop and walk or run with that middle school student, because like he's older or she's older, and it's cool to like be around that. So it just promotes reading for younger age and has the younger generation say, hey, this is something cool. Maybe we should get off of the devices for a little bit, read, because these older students are reading just like me, and I want to be just like them.
So this is homecoming. Homecoming is most definitely one of my favorite times of like the years. Last year, I had so much fun there, and I feel like the next years to come are going to be phenomenal. And the newer grades coming, and like it's just be so much fun. And like the float building, that's going to be fun. Just seeing everybody come together, and like having the opportunity to make one of the floats was fun. And like we just celebrated the football games was fun, having the concession stand and everybody wanted to go just get stuff, and like to see everybody walk around there was so much fun, and the next years to come are going to be even better.
Unity Day. Unity Day at high school was very special. Being able to unite with kindness and acceptance, all about, you know, spreading awareness about bullying. Me personally, I work with A World of Difference, our club at our school. I'm the vice president, as a matter of fact. We promote tolerance and respect. So Unity Day kind of correlates with that. So what we really did for Unity Day is we talked a lot about bullying, because obviously that's a big issue in these schools nowadays with technology, devices. A lot of self-esteem gets brought down. So being able to see our school doing a lot more about that, spreading awareness, and just making sure that their students are all right and that they know they have somewhere to go to if they need help. It's really a special moment seeing that in our schools today.
Also, we talked about Red Ribbon Week. 100% my favorite time again, along with homecoming, wearing the red, and just supporting everybody that drugs are insanely horrible. Our morning announcements were great. We had our Spirit Week just to go along with it. We gave out bracelets and the tattoos they could put on the water. Not the real ones, don't be scared. We had assemblies, those are fun. And just going over in each class that like drugs are insanely bad, and like the posters that you'd see on the walls and stuff that go over that were good too. Just seeing how we support that, like, just don't do drugs. It doesn't better for you, anybody else around you.
So this is Trick or Treat Street that we had right at the front of the school where the front entrance is, and it was a really fun time because you got to see all the creativity from the younger children, which is really cool because there's some costumes that I saw that I didn't know what they were or like what it was, and it was cool to see the creativity because I couldn't think of that. And it was also cool because you also got to connect with the younger children as well, because we had every car had different like games, just silly little games that you can play, and a lot of the times it was fun to see the kid beat me and be so excited and be like, yay, I beat someone older than me, which is probably amazing for them, you know? And it was also cool to just see smiles on all of their faces. And what's really great about it is it's also outside, and so it also just gets them out in nature, I guess, you know, with the fresh oxygen and just trees around us and stuff. And it gets people outside of the house, which is really great because we've all been stuck inside for such a long time after the COVID-19 happened. And it's really great to see that we're moving more towards of inside to outside.
This was, oh wait, hold on. Alright, these are the trips that the athletes took to Vern, school right across. The athletes visited the classrooms to serve as role models for the students. They read stories, helped out with homework, taught the kids a little, gave them a little advice at least on like their next years to come, growing up in general, and they helped again like all the third graders and just preparing them with life in general. But that's it. They gave them lunch too.
It's my first year as a cadet in the high school. I'm a sophomore, and I think being able to wear the uniform was extremely incredible, and having the opportunity to even have a class like that to get a gist of what you want to go into when you're older was really special. And coming from a family, my brother served in the military, my dad served in the military, being able to show them that I could do what they did, that I want to possibly do or go into what they did in the future was really special. And the class is really fun. Being able to experience that, the classes are extremely fun actually. I love my class. I think it's probably the best day, the best part of my day. So getting to wear the uniform and represent for Veterans Day and all those that served, all those that are serving currently made me really happy. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a cadet. This is my third year in the program as well. So it was really cool because you get to see people like you know what I'm saying? And it's so great to promote the United States military and all the veterans, obviously, because it's Veterans Day. It's really great to see promotion in that because the military now, I feel like it just gets overlooked more often, and they're there obviously, and everyone obviously thanks them, but it's not as promoted nowadays, and it's really great to see it being promoted, especially in a high school level, and it's just great to see that. And it just makes me feel so comfortable, just walking into the classroom and seeing everyone in camo, which is funny. And it's great to see like everyone, and we all are like the same people because we're all like united under one uniform. We all have the same patch, and it's awesome to see that.
This was the Ambassadors of Compassion. Some of the varsity sports went up to give back to the community, so they had Christmas in a shoebox, which was in a bag. They made blankets for the elderly, and sending cards to the troops just to give back. And my favorite part was definitely the blankets. I feel like that helped out everybody a lot, and it's getting colder now, so that was definitely a better part. And doing the different designs, it just looked like fun, and like just giving back in general, back to whoever, like what they need and stuff. That's just amazing.
At the school curriculum fair, again, obviously Mr. Santana talked about this earlier, but it was really great to see all the different classes, and for younger students to see all the different classes they can take. And the school also did a little twist on it. They had little cards that you can get stamped by each of the different stations, like ELA, math, technology, culinary, all those. And if you get all the stamps, you get a chance to win a free cotillion ticket, which is cool because who wouldn't want a free cotillion ticket? And it was cool to also promote the classes and get a chance to really like say, hey, like you should take this class and to give students perspective on it. Like I was at the English language arts table for public speaking and debate, and I thoroughly enjoy that class. Class is helping me right now. And it's really great to promote that class, in my opinion, because everyone needs to public speak, and you're gonna get into some type of debate once in your lifetime, and you're always gonna use public speaking no matter what, no matter really age, to be honest. And yeah, it was really fun to just talk about the classes and be able to say, yeah, you guys should take this class. This is a fun class, because who wouldn't want their senior year or junior year to have a fun class they can take, and they can walk into that class and be like, this is a class where like I want to be and I want to learn. Because whenever I walk into public speaking and debate, I'm like, I know this is going to be fun. Like you're always presenting in front of the class for some sort of project, and you get to act things out because it's cool, and it really does boost your confidence, because it's helped me a lot boost my confidence and my eye contact as well. So it really benefits me. So it's great to give my perspective to the students and promote it, really.
The Hershey Fair, man, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. So, may I say, we did wake up very, 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 very early, but it was worth it, because that day was honestly fun. Everybody went on rides. It was so much fun. We got to break up into our own groups, and just being there until it was night. My favorite part was going on the very tall ride, and we went down it and went back up and went down, and the sun was setting. It was so beautiful. It was amazing. And like to see all families there and like kids having fun definitely like brightened my smile and my day, just to make it even better. Like just seeing everybody there, the water fountain was beautiful, and going to the different stores, the Hershey store right after was amazing. The food, oh God. And I would go back there like any day of my life if I had a chance. I actually have a return voucher, so I might go. And spending the day with all my friends and just seeing everybody have smiles on their faces, no matter how high the ride was, like if you got hurt or something, it was just fun in general. I love Hershey, I love parks, everything. I'm all for it. Invite me and I'm there, all right? And I think that's the end.
Yep. So another round of applause for Connor, Gabby, Valentina. You guys are so impressive. Adidas as well, because you're in one of my slides playing your saxophone, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna be in SpongeBob. So I want to give you a shout out as well.
He is
Sorry. Anyway, then we'll have that conversation another time. But no, listen, it's I can't begin to tell you how touched I am to hear you guys speak about all these things that I wish were true. So we see evidence of it. It's amazing. Your own personal experiences, I certainly can relate. We've shared heritage together. Gabby, I feel like I've known you forever. And Connor, I always think you're a grown man. I love your outfits you wear at the football games and stuff. And and also what's really impressive is the fact that we have such a range of grades, from freshman to sophomore to a senior. I'm super impressed, guys. Thank you for taking the time out and sharing your experiences and really being a huge source of Clipper pride. And thank you, Principal Del Rosa, Ms. White.
Mr. Santana, keep them here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure the board would like to make some comments. too.
Yes, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
not so fast, not so fast, Karen.
Okay.
Just, I'll start, just to reiterate what the superintendent said. We are excited when we have our students present at the Board of Education meeting, because it reinforces the programs that we brought into the district. For example, the cadet program, I was on the board when we first brought in that program, how we had to fight to get that program. And it was so gratifying to hear how much you enjoy it. And I've often wanted to go, what day do they all wear their uniforms? Fridays? Okay.
Yeah,
Is it Fridays?
It's on Fridays, yes.
Okay.
yeah, mainly Fridays.
All right, we'll make a day. I often wanted to visit the school on the days that they wear their uniforms. But I'm very happy to hear the experience that you have, that you've been having. I'm very impressed with how you speak. So your public speaking classes are working well. I was very impressed with that you didn't need notes to make your presentation.
They were kind of just sitting there collecting.
But you
notes.
didn't, but it didn't show. But it didn't show. You need those there as, just as your reference, I understand. But you knew your material, and that was very evident. And also your passion. You were passionate about what you presented, and that showed. So I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rest of the board?
Yeah, I would just like to comment on one of the things too, again, talking about the cadets my son is currently serving. It would be good because he's actually encountered a lot of his classmates who are serving, he happens to be in the Marine Corps, but where he's encountered them out there, and it's interesting to see Bellport having that representation. Obviously that has the potential to grow, but maybe there's ways to engage some of our alumni with the group.
Yeah, we have, because a lot of the times when the newly enlisted members of the military branch, we've had a few actually come in. We've had, this was over the 3 years, we've had people who graduated from Bellport or grew up in like the Bellport South Country School District area.
Yep.
And they've also just helped promote it as well and get a better understanding on a more younger person level.
Yeah. And obviously my own kids get to enjoy a lot of those experiences too, but it's good. Sometimes they don't necessarily share as much as you guys were willing to share today, so thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, great job, guys.
Yeah.
High school seems like a blast. Thanks for sharing all that with us.
All right. Anybody else?
Thank you guys.
Okay. Just, Rafi, anything?
No, keep doing what you're doing, strive for greatness. I wish I had took a class, public speaking. My first time public speaking was running for the board. So, I knew Gabby for a long time. She comes to the boys, she's come to the Boys and Girls Club, so she's always been firecrackers, so yeah. Good job.
And Ms. Della Rosa, you obviously have lots of programs. I can't believe there's more.
Oh, there's more.
With
Oh,
what they
there's more.
presented, that there's so much more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to thank you for presenting tonight because you're going to help me answer one of the hardest questions I get from people in the community, which is, how are things in the district? And now I've got 3 examples to give them of exceptional students who are displaying some of the highest standards that I can think of. I noted your compassion, your consideration for others, your enthusiasm about learning things outside your own little environment. And I thank you again for that.
Really quickly, I can't resist. Board members to get together, we're gonna do something, guys. Come on down. We'll stand in front of the table if you guys go there. Principal Del Rosa, Mike, come on down too. Dinas, come on in too. You're here on the board meeting, you get honorary selfie privileges. So, I'll position itself. You guys stand over there, have long hair. Let's go. I'm gonna do an angle this way. Yeah. Awesome, thank you guys.
Okay, we guys go say.
Come on, Dad. And poor Charles Schwartz, I gotta do that. Okay.
Thank you, awesome job there.
You're welcome, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you for coming, guys. Go home and do homework.
And Valentina, you're on
Wait a
the
minute, the
question
last
team as well?
2 nights, Dr. Colson gave no homework passes.
Because I'm meaner than I don't want to give any free homework classes. There we go. That's Clipper Compassion.
Nice job.
So we just learned about all these programs, and I want to encourage again community members to keep in touch. Again, there's a community portal that's more for messaging, like snow day messages or anything communication that goes out to our parents. You can log on to the community portal and get those messages by subscribing on our website. But more importantly, we have a new link for our social media platforms. We have various social media handles now, from athletics to STEM to English as a second language, world languages. Follow these social media platforms. You can see a lot of stuff happening. There's posts basically on a daily basis from all of our schools. Certainly, I post as much as possible, but keep in touch. As much as we lament social media, it can be used for good. There's also a Superintendent's Corner that gives you a monthly sort of update on school district happenings, my contact information, my X feed. I got to change that because it's X now. Is also available on our website, as well as my weekly update or my weekly blog that I post on the weekends for our entire learning community. So please stay in touch. We have a lot going on. That was just kind of a small sample, and I'm so glad I invited the students to come and share their experiences. And finally, I want to say happy holidays. This is our last meeting before the holidays. For all of our friends and family members and community members who celebrate Hanukkah. Tomorrow's the first night of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to all of you. Happy Kwanzaa, of course, Merry Christmas. Really enjoy. I want to wish everybody a very healthy and prosperous holiday season. And of course, let's hope that 2024 is a great year. I think we've been inundated with a lot of stuff. How about we get inundated with a lot of good stuff in 2024? So let's all put our collective thoughts, prayers, whatever your faith system is, together to hope for a nice 2024. I want to thank you. That concludes my presentation.
All right, well, thank you. All right, that brings us up to the trustee and advisory committee reports. So, nothing? Okay, Mr. Barry?
From my standpoint, I just wanted to share, it's great to hear things, not that I don't, as a big sports fan, I'm a big sports proponent, but it's good to hear about the other things happening in the school district overall, including the concerts.
I have nothing to report, but I would like to echo what the superintendent said. I am amazed by the number of students that are participating in the music program. I mean, I know it's always been a big part of South Country School District, but I'm really impressed and very, very happy to see that level of participation.
And they're good.
And they're good.
And they're
Right.
Yes, I have nothing to add.
Okay.
I would just be repeating some of the things that our superintendent has already reported on, that I attended also the financial governance workshop and was delighted to sit at the table with our assistant superintendent for business, who was literally smiling and dancing in her chair. She was so enthralled with what went on, the material that was presented to us. But from the board's perspective, to be able to listen to this presentation and to see that we're already given the reports that we're supposed to be given in order to meet our obligations to our taxpayers and to ourselves, that was very gratifying. The curriculum fair was, it was a lot of fun from the minute I walked in, and had music and passed the music, had hors d'oeuvres and dessert prepared by the culinary folks.
Live music.
Live mode, right, and I'm gesturing that, a member of our audience was one of the musicians there right at the front. And I particularly liked the student volunteers who'd come out to be translators for people. And it was really gratifying too to see the enthusiasm of some of the students who were at the tables demonstrating the different courses. And you mentioned the class adulting, which is something I'd never heard of, but thought that would be a great class.
Oh, adulting?
Adulting, right. Maybe they made it.
Adulting's not easy.
I use that word a lot.
I'd never heard it. That was a new one
Used a
for
lot
me.
more.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the concerts at the middle school, and I'm looking forward to the ones at the high school coming up. And I'm actually looking forward to doing a webinar, and I think we've all been invited. It's by the New York State Controller is doing a webinar, and it's actually running right now, but since it's being recorded, we can watch it in our spare time.
Does that conclude your report?
That's me.
Okay. All right, so I will continue with what Vice President Hayes had said, attended the same things that she already commented on, and also the superintendent. It also was, I didn't realize we were going to learn the night we went to the NYSBA event, and I didn't realize how much information was going to be shared that night. So they promised to get us out by 9 o'clock, but that didn't work because there was just so much volume. But it was also exciting for us to learn, as Ms. Hayes has already said, that some of the changes we've already made to our budget presentation were recommended by our assistant superintendent for business, and were being recommended at this particular event. So we are ahead of the curve, and I do appreciate the time that you have spent. And I really enjoyed how much you enjoyed, you know, but pardon the word, but the geekiness of accounting. And but it's, you know, it's necessary. We have to do it, and sometimes it's difficult to understand. And but you really enjoyed it, and so did the presenters. And then NYSBA did a great job in giving us that education, and I'm excited that they're giving us that education throughout the years, because things are getting more complicated and money gets tight, so we have to be sharpened on our game. I also like that they cautioned us about the district audits from the state controller and what they will be looking for within districts to make sure that taxpayer dollars are properly cared for. So that was also very, very helpful. And the one thing that we didn't mention, but I'd like to mention because it happened the night after our last meeting, was the BTA mentoring night. And the night that we enjoyed with our BTA executive board. Contractually, the BTA is entitled to meet with 3 members of the executive board each year, and they invite us year after year, and it was myself, Vice President Hayes, and Trustee Kavanaugh who attended. And along with your executive board, they had all of their mentors and their mentees. So it was a nice night to just enjoy a casual getting to know you and what's been happening in the school districts, and the talent that we have been able to hire, and how they're being guided into their new roles. So we had a very, very nice evening there. I did not know the cake that you provided that night did have the superintendent's favorite mantra, #ClipperPride, until you posted it on your Instagram feed. So I made sure I did a screenshot and sent it to him. Was that your idea?
The hashtag
No one's fessing up.
No, the hashtag #ClipperPride was Stephanie Pride.
Okay.
She puts it all on.
My social media.
But I'm going to give a public acknowledgement to Dr. Blasek for superintendent selfies, which I thought came from Trustee Trent. But there's some controversy as to who spearheaded this idea. It didn't come from me.
I don't remember.
You communicated it to me. Apparently, Dr. Blasek communicated it to Trustee Trent.
Well, I wasn't there for that conversation, but I was there for the conversation between the two of you at Kramer, because we were in the process of looking for Mr. Trent's tile on the wall. And that's where the selfie first
Yes,
occurred,
yes.
is it, right?
Mhm. That's
So
the
I
story.
just want to thank the BTA for their hospitality and inviting us, you know, once again, and I hope we can continue that relationship long into the future. So before we close, Mr. Garrett, did you have anything else? No, you good?
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, and thanks again for the invite. I do have something to say about BTA mentoring, but that's for January 4th.
Okay.
All good stuff.
All right, so let's go back to the agenda, and we are up to public commentary. Do we have any cards? No cards. Okay, items of discussion and action. Item F.
I know, that's right.
The item 1 through 3 for the superintendent's recommendation.
Thank you. Up to F, items for discussion. Before I give my recommendations, I do want to speak a little bit about item F3, which is our workplace violence prevention policy. My recommendation is that responsibility be awarded to the superintendent or his or her designee. So it's from the board, or?
Certainly.
Okay, so I just wanted to make
Understood.
that clear before we went for a vote. So at this time, having said that it would be the superintendent or his or her designee, the administration recommends approval of items located in F1 through F3.
Okay, we need a motion and a second for item one, F1 through F3. Motion by trustee Flippin, seconded by trustee Barry Kavanaugh.
Gary Kavanaugh.
We'll go back to the next time. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Seeing all hands raised, the motion passes unanimously. Now we're up to item G, board consent agenda item for curriculum.
The administration recommends the approval of curriculum items reflected in schedules G1 through G3.
Okay, again, motion G1 through G3, motion by trustee Trent, seconded by trustee Barry. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Seeing all hands raised, the motion passes unanimously. And now we're up to board consent agenda item for personnel, item H.
The administration recommends approval of personnel changes reflected in schedules H1 through H8.
Just before we take that vote, Madam District Clerk, remind me to talk to you about this one, how it's listed on the agenda, because it doesn't list it as the superintendent mentions it, 1 through 8. It just says item 1. So it just gets confusing to me when I call back the vote.
On the side.
So just going forward, if we can make that correction.
Sure.
All right? And I keep forgetting to ask you about it before the meeting and at our agenda meeting. So we'll take care of that as we go forward. So you did say item 1 through 8?
Correct.
Okay. So we need a motion and a second for items H1 through 8. Vice President Hayes, seconded by trustee Barry. Any discussion? Seeing no discussions, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Seeing all hands raised, the motion passes unanimously. And finally, we have a consent agenda item for business.
The administration recommends approval of business items reflected in schedules I1 through I6.
Again, motion I1 through I6. Motion by trustee Barry, seconded by trustee Kavanaugh. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Seeing all hands raised, the motion passes unanimously. And now that brings us to the conclusion of our public commentary. Still no cards. Anyone in the audience wish to speak? You sure? All right. Maybe you'll get extra credit if you speak.
Mr. Brady,
Yes,
hasn't
okay.
he been here long enough?
I don't teach class anymore.
All right. Can you please share with his
You can go.
teacher how long he stayed? All
All
right.
Class if I still come.
Seeing no further public commentary, which brings us to closing remarks by the board. No, not so fast. Yes.
I just wanted to comment on something earlier. I regret the fact that I wasn't at the Energia Partnership as an Energia partner. I should have probably known that you were going to be at an event, and I would have made it a point to be there for that. But you know, I'm an active member, and I think that there's probably a lot that we can share. In terms of what it is we're doing to better educate some of the regional stewards of Long Island, in the future for the Energia Partnership.
It was a great event. It was very informative even for me to hear from different sort of stewards, as you said, of the community.
Yeah, I think the board was pleasantly surprised about the educational component to the whole project, so you'll probably be able to assist
We're
us in
talking
that
about
regard.
Energia. It's a Molloy College program.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
like the
I thought you
same
were talking
name.
about the one we-
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say, it's a two-year program that I got to experience, and it's a fantastic network of people, but, I forget, trying to think of the different school districts that we studied as part of the program. One of the ones that was most impactful to me was when we went to Westbury schools at that time, and then also Freeport's schools with Dr. Kundrum. But, I think people would really be surprised to see some of the things that are going on in South Country there that I think would also be something for future that I'd like to probably try and push there as
Look
well.
forward to hearing more about it.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments?
One more
Closing
last
comments?
comment, and I'm gonna break a promise, but I feel remiss if I don't say anything, but on our personnel agenda today, we had a retirement. I said I wouldn't say anything now, because it's way too early in the year, and I want to have a more celebratory sort of announcement, but I just want to acknowledge Nelson Briggs for the help he's been to me in the last year and a half. He's officially retiring at the end of this year, so I just wanted to give him a shout out, and so thank him, and looking forward to finishing out this year strong. And we'll make it a little bit more festive, but I sat here and I was like, I told him I'm not going to say anything tonight, but I couldn't let it go. So sorry, sir, to break my promise.
Thank you, everybody.
This is why he wore the mask, because he knew he had spotlight. But no, but I just want to thank you for all the years of that you've dedicated to us. So
Thank you, I appreciate it. Time to go.
Yes.
Also, Erica Watson.
Oh.
Not official yet.
Not official.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Not official yet.
Yeah.
Soon.
I have to admit, I shed a tear when I saw that.
Yeah, I was a little.
Yeah.
Wait, any tears yet?
Okay, okay, that's good. No, that's good
Anything
news.
can help.
That's good news. I was like, oh. But anyway, good luck to everyone who's considering retiring, and certainly to you, Nelson Briggs,
Thank you.
who is retiring. All right. Ba-dum-bum. That brings us to
Hand
the
up.
conclusion of the meeting.
Trent?
Motion to close.
Yes.
Trustee Trent, seconded by Trustee Kavanaugh. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are officially adjourned. Thank you very much.